mentioned, the first one was light. And I think that's kind of makes sense. It's hard to sleep when there's two types of light, right? There's the sunlight from outside. Then there's also artificial light, which is a result of our, artificial environment that we have in our homes and smartphones and things of that nature. So ideally, with light, it's that we want a really dark room, as dark as possible. What we call those are time cues, meaning that these are things which might indicate what time of day it is. So like if you wake up in the middle of the night and your window's open, you can see it's dark out, it's in the middle of the night. But if all of a sudden it starts to get lighter out, you're like, okay, it's probably getting close to waking up. So we want to avoid those time cues. So one, we want our rooms to be as dark as possible. We want to get rid of as much light as possible. Some people are going to be now more sensitive to light than others, right? So like someone like myself, that little light that's on your TV, that little red light, like in a hotel room, that bothers me, right? So some people it doesn't bother at all, but it bothers me. So I cover that up with like electrical tape. If I'm on the road, I'll throw like a towel underneath the door to a hotel, just to kind of block that extra light. I'll clip the curtains shut, right? Because that sun always finds its way into those hotel curtains. And even at home, I try to have as dark of a room as possible. Now the thing about now is I have to operate a little differently because, as you know, I got a couple little kids at home. So it's important to have some night lights around in case they get up and start wandering and find their way. And, if we have to get up and go to one of them in the middle of the night, it's a little bit easier to find their way too. So kind of that takes some getting used to for me. The other type of light is like the stuff you get from your devices, right? They say blue light. And the theory behind that is when they say blue light, it's not necessarily the color blue, but it's the light from there's a spectrum of light, and there's a blue end of the spectrum. It's right around 450 nanometers is the number. That's really insignificant, but we don't perceive it, but our eyes do. And what that does is sunlight happens to give off a lot of blue light, which also suppresses melatonin. So the reason why people say to stay away from this type of light, because these also give off a lot of blue light, is because then that suppresses melatonin and would make it harder to go to sleep. Now, there has been some recent research, albeit in mice, that says maybe not so much true. So I think more to come on that. I think right now I'm operating under the same thoughts as previously, which is probably eliminate blue light and mitigate blue light. But I am keeping an eye on the current research to say, well, maybe there's something there. Maybe it's not as big of an impact as it was, but certainly it's there. So that was light.
Okay, but you talked about blue light and like suppressing melatonin. And one of the things that I've tried to do, I don't do a good enough job of it with that is using those glasses when I'm using my like iPad or iPhone as it's closer to sleep time.
Yeah.
Is there merit in that? Is there been shown that actually helps, or is it based off of the quality of the glasses you buy?
It is based off the quality of the glasses in which you purchase. So for instance, the ones I have, I got a pair right here, actually. These are my Uvex Skyper. They're like $8 on Amazon, right? You can see they got the orange tint. They're not fashionable. They are not fashion forward at all. So if you're thinking this is those block out about 99% of the blue light. Right now, if you get on, there's other ones. Some of the gaming glasses, they don't block out 99%. Some are like 50, some are 25, some are like 60. So you really have to do your research and kind of look into it and see what might be the better one for you, right? Because they're not all equal. Just because they have blue light blocking capabilities doesn't mean they're going to be as effective as the other one. So yeah, I always go with those because they're cheap and they work.
Then you talked about with the light. One thing that I've noticed, and we talked about this a couple of days ago, that I highly recommend is like an eye mask.
For sure.
The quality of my sleep, it sounds funny, but it's not. Like that eye mask puts you almost in, it's pitch dark even when it's dark.
Yep. eye mask is great. I mean, like I said, if you have night lights or if you have like blinds that allow light in and it disrupts your sleep, totally get an eye mask. But you know, eye masks are going to be like mattresses, right? It's an individuality thing. So people with long eyelashes don't like eye masks because they touch and that freaks them out a little bit. But they make other eye masks that actually sit a little bit farther away from the eyes. So, you know, find one that are comfortable, find them that you would like, and absolutely 100% a great addition to your, you know, your sleep kit.
Yeah, my eye mask actually has like a little foam circle that goes around that actually raises off. So I got a pretty good set. I'm actually real happy with mine. And before we jump into the next point.